Okay, so today I want to talk about the importance of self-care as a homemaker, as a mother. Unfortunately, in our world, there's often only the extremes that are exposed. Like, there's the hyper self-indulgent form of self-care where people can be almost negligent of the things around them in the name of self-care. Or there can be martyrdom, where people are like, I am not allowed to enjoy my life. I have to have this kind of down idea of my life, like that having a servant heart means also being sad, which I don't think is really our role as mothers. I think we are called to servanthood, much like our Messiah. I believe we are called to take care of those we love the most, but we are to do it with joy, and it's not supposed to be from a drought. We need to be a well-watered well that can pour into others. So that's what I want to talk about today. By the way, for those of you who are new here, I'm Hannah, and I live tiny with our family of 8 in a shed to homestead conversion. I'm so glad you're here, and if you like this video, please consider sticking around, liking the video, and subscribing. It really does help my channel to grow. Before we really dive into the topic of self-care, when it comes to parenting, I like to think long term, like what is the impression this is going to leave on our children long term? And to me, I think it's very important that if my daughters ever become mothers, that they don't feel any guilt when they need to take care of themselves, when they need a moment to themselves, when they need help. I promise he's fine. My baby is back there playing with a wicker laundry basket. He's having a good time. It's important to me to model the kind of emotional, mental, and physical health that I want my daughters to have when they are grown and they have their own households. I want them to know that they need to take care of themselves, just like they do, or hopefully will, their husbands and their children one day. Or, their garden, their pets, their home, whatever is entrusted in their care. Whatever is entrusted in their care, I want them to know that they have to take care of themselves as well, and that there's absolutely no shame in that. Okay, so don't mind me. You might see me occasionally look down at my notes, because mom brain, and I anticipate getting interrupted every now and then, so it helps me not get too distracted. But I do want to say, I think a lot of times we consider self-care to be something that is automatically expensive, and we think we can't afford it. And there's nothing wrong with self-care being expensive if you can afford it and it doesn't hurt you. I mean, why not? There's nothing wrong with like your self-care including like a pedicure if that brings you joy, or getting your hair done professionally. That's fine. But it can also be inexpensive. It can be reading a book. It can be going on a prayer walk. It can be just going outside. It can be waking up before your family and lighting a candle and journaling. Self-care does not necessarily have to equate like it being a big ordeal with finding a babysitter and paying them and going out and doing the thing and carving out time and then coming back home and feeling like you have to get everything back in maintenance mode based on whatever happened while you were gone. Because to me, sometimes the idea of leaving the house for self-care actually sounds like more work than pleasure. So it can look different for all kinds of people, and it's okay to really sit down and think, what makes me feel fed? What makes me feel nourished? What makes me feel replenished? What gives me more energy to put back into my family? Are you clapping? Good job! You're so smart. Good job clapping. Yay! So I think self-care is crucial as stay-at-home moms just because of the emotional, mental, and physical load that is on us on a regular basis, that it's very easy to get burnt out. I realized shortly after having my 6th baby that I had messed up cortisol levels due to stress and not sleeping well, not eating well, consuming caffeine too late in the day, etc., etc. And I realized that taking back my health and making my health a priority was something that wound up giving time back to my family, because when I was crashing on the couch or I was cranky because I wasn't sleeping well, those were things that were taking away from my family and making my job a lot harder. But by giving myself permission to take care of myself, to really take time to research how I could make my cortisol levels better, how I could eat better so that my hormones were more stable and get to bed at a better time. All these things actually helped me give back to my family. And I think it helps to look at self-care in that way. It's kind of like how we think exercise might seem like it's going to deplete us of our energy, but in reality, it gives us more energy, and that gives us more that we can put back into our families. Even if it's just like 15 minutes of exercise, it's amazing how carving out that one little section of your day can wind up giving you so much more energy and more endorphins and more of your better, higher, sane self to give to your family, as opposed to a mom who feels really down about herself, has low energy, and feels like she's just kind of dragging. Little things like taking care of yourself through your health helps you take better care of your family. So now that we've discussed the importance of your physical health, I also want to talk about the impact of mental health. As someone who has struggled with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety after certain births, not every single one, but some of them, I understand how very, very hard it is. I understand waking up and already feeling defeated before you even get out of bed. I understand what it's like to feel like the world around you is kind of like this deep, dark, muddy hole that you cannot physically climb out of. I know what it feels like to think that I can't even conquer a shower today. And I also know what it's like to slowly but progressively heal, and for the bad days to space out and get further and further apart. So if you are in a season of struggle, I don't want you to feel bad. I don't want you to beat yourself up. I don't want you to feel like you're failing. I want you to know that you do not have to stay in that place. And I want you to give yourself full permission to take care of yourself and to research what you can do to heal. There's a lot of overwhelm and stress and anxiety that is inevitably going to come from being the caretaker of young people. When you are putting their needs above your own, there's always things that are going to happen. Life happens, people get hurt, they fight with each other because they're human just like the rest of us. There's always going to be bumps in your day-to-day life. No one gets off scot-free. No one gets an entirely easy job of being a stay-at-home mom. But you have to take care of yourself so that you know better how to pour into your family. It's wisdom to take care of your mental health. And you also want to model taking care of your mental health for your children, because they're watching you, mama. They're watching you, and they need to know from your example that it's okay to take care of themselves if they ever find themselves in the trenches of life. They need to know that you can climb out of depression, you can heal. It's not easy, but let them see your strength. Let them see that you're not going to be conquered. You're going to be strong. Let them see and know, my mama did it, and I can too. So now I want to discuss the importance of the ripple effect that your energy has on your entire home. Just like how our husbands have the role of being the leaders of the home, we were blessed with the gift of influence. And I'm sure you all well know that, like they say, happy wife, happy life, which I don't love. I don't love that expression, but to some degree it's true that your temperature affects the atmosphere of the home. When mom is happy and nourished and in a good place mentally and emotionally, it has a positive effect on her husband and her children and everything else living in your home, your animals. I mean, it's a big deal. And however, when we feel depleted and sad and run down, burnt out, our family will also be affected by that. So it's another, again, not something to beat yourself up about. Please don't do that. But it is a way for you to acknowledge that it is okay to take care of yourself. In a way, taking care of yourself also takes care of your family, because it is a ripple effect. Your energy affects their energy in a really big way. Okay, so let's now talk about some practical ways we can apply this into our everyday lives. So self-care routines can be woven into our day if that works best for us. Like when I was pregnant, for example, a way I took care of myself was doing Grow with Joe workouts, and often I included my children in that because it was just easier than trying to do it without them, frankly. And it was more fun if they would kind of just jump in and do the funny dance moves with me, and then we all felt energized after that, so that was a blessing. I've heard of other moms do this. Depending on the season of life you're in, it might be difficult, like if you have a really young baby or a child with special needs, but it helps to have a start time and a clocking out time. So clocking out time is bedtime, let's face it. That's when they go to bed, you can tell them, mommy is clocking out. And I do use that expression, I am clocking out, you're going to bed, good night, sweet dreams. We do the whole bedtime routine, and that's when I'm off the clock for a little bit. And it helps to have that end time. And yes, of course, we all know that there's gonna be times where someone has a nightmare, someone's sick, and of course you're gonna step up to the plate. You're gonna be mom. You're gonna clock back in, as it will. But on a normal, regular day-to-day basis, it is good to set that expectation for your children of like, the day is ending and mommy has done her deed for the day. In terms of a start time, it helps to think like, okay, my children wake up at this time. So for example, most of my children are awake by 6. Yeah, they're early birds like their mom. So for me, what works best, if I'm able to, depending on how well my baby sleeps through the night, is I like to wake up at 4. I like to wake up at 4 before my start time, and that's when I get in my me time. Wake up, make my coffee, read the word, journal, listen to something that helps get my mind in the right mindset, think of my goals and my action steps, get dressed, put on makeup. That's when it is best for me to have my me time before I officially clock in as mom. And by then I feel ready to start my day. I'm ready to make breakfast. I'm ready to greet my children with a smile and a hug because I factored in that time. So like I said, some mornings it doesn't look like that. Some nights he is having a growth spurt and he's nursing extra, or he's struggling to go to sleep and we're doing a lot of walking, and I might sleep in, to like 5:30, and sometimes 6. And then I'll have to factor in the me time as I'm able, or sometimes it doesn't happen that day, and that's okay. Because in Messiah, my cup runneth over. He can fill me in when I don't get in that time. I don't want to pitch a hissy fit if I don't get my me time, but I do try to factor it in on a regular basis. Are y'all seeing my lovely laundry in the background? Like I said, I had a moment and I was like, this is the right time to film because everyone's outside. So this just works out. So don't worry, it's gonna get put away in a few minutes. It's okay. Lastly, I want to talk about spiritual self-care because it's the most important of all. And like I said, through Messiah, our cups run over, right? But even Yeshua, our Messiah, went away to pray. He took care of people, he healed them, he poured into them, and then he went away to pray, to get his alone time when he needed it, to be replenished and refreshed with his Heavenly Father. And we ought to do the same because spiritual self-care is going to permeate throughout our entire body. And that, more than anything, is what's going to renew our souls, help us grow spiritual fruit, and help us be the examples we want to be for our children. More than anything else, it is legitimately the highest form of self-care. Okay guys, so it is almost lunchtime, and like I said, I need to put up that laundry. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I want to thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to listen to this video, and I truly hope that there was something in it that blessed you in some way. And if it did, please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel. I'm constantly trying to encourage fellow moms. I believe in doing the absolute best in whatever job you have. So I want to reach out to other high achieving moms and let us encourage one another in this glorious and beautiful role that the Heavenly Father has given us. And for other practical tips on self-care, I did a video last week on that, and I'll have it linked in the description box below. Please give that a view if you're interested. And with that, I hope you guys have a blessed day. Bye, friends.